Hello and welcome to Gradient's weekly roundup of key news and activities in the FMCG industry in Sri Lanka for the week ending 9th November 2021. I'm Roshaan. Let's first take a look at the stories that made headlines this week. Sri Lanka falls 10 places down to 77th in the latest Global Food Security Index. Overarching agricultural policy developed to promote food security and improve livelihoods. LPG supply constrained as dollars to settle LCs squeezed. Fruit value chains in Sri Lanka to be developed with Chinese funding. We will also take a look at the movement of key FMCG industry statistics and indicators and wrap up with some notable corporate news that made it across to our news desk. In the top story, Sri Lanka's ranking in the 2021 Global Food Security Index declined to 77th among 113 countries from 67th last year. Volatility of agriculture production was identified as a challenge in the country. Additionally, change in average food prices, agriculture import tariffs and protein quality in Sri Lanka were assessed as being well below the average of index countries. Population under the poverty line, market access and agriculture, financial services and food loss were identified as relative strengths. Among the key South Asian countries, Sri Lanka is placed behind India at 71st and Pakistan at 75th, but ahead of Nepal at 79th and Bangladesh at 84th. The Sri Lankan government announced an overarching agricultural policy under the guidance of the National Planning Department and the Ministry of Agriculture. The initiative is reportedly supported and funded by the European Union through the Technical Assistance to Modernization of Agriculture program. The key objectives of the OAP are to promote food and nutrition security, raise living standards of those involved in agriculture through value addition, and improve competitiveness of the sector while ensuring sustainable use of natural resources. According to Economy Next, liquid petroleum gas distributors are awaiting dollars from state and private sector banks to clear stocks and pay up on letters of credit. The source reports that Litro had stated suppliers had asked for a 109% increase in the current LC facility in terms of the contract as gas prices have risen since July. WK Vegapitiya, chairman at LAFS, speaking to Economy Next, expresses concerns on the matter. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the Ministry of Agriculture in Sri Lanka, with funding support from China, launched a project to provide technical assistance to enhance the production and the commercialization of fruit value chains in the country. The project is valued at over $1.1 billion. Now let's take a look at the movement of key industry statistics and indicators. According to the central bank, production across the country's three major export crops, tea, rubber and coconut, grew in the first 8 months of the year. Tea production grew by 17.9% year-on-year to 211.5 million kilos, while rubber production increased 12.1% year-on-year to 56.3 million kilos. Number of coconuts harvested during the same period rose to 2 billion, up from 1.8 billion a year earlier. The Sri Lankan government removed the maximum retail price controls on several food items such as sugar, dal, chicken, dried fish and milk powder, among others. Further, the special commodity levy on imported rice was reduced from 65 rupees to 25 cents for 6 months with the objective of bringing down the retail price of rice to under 100 rupees. Bandula Gunawardena, Ministry of Trade, said retailers are able to sell rice below 100 rupees without a significant margin. He noted that the majority of the rice importing licenses are held by the State Trading Corporation. Those violating the agreement by selling at high prices would lose their import license, the minister added. Now let's take a look at the weekly movement of key FMCG sub-indices at the Colombo Stock Exchange. Here's how the rupee performed against the dollar this week. In corporate news this week, e-commerce platform Kapruka Holdings Limited announced plans for an IPO. Offering 20% stake at 15 rupees and 40 cents per share, the company intends to raise 505.5 million rupees. Hobify China, a Malaysian-owned company, is to invest $340 million in a project to export organic durian from Sri Lanka. The facility will be on a 200-acre land in Navalapitiya. Hobify entered the Sri Lankan market via the acquisition of the local company In The Nature Limited. Crispro launched 2 new poultry products to the local market: the 12-cut lacy chicken pack and the frozen grilled chicken without giblet. The company noted that both products are ISO 9001, ISO 14001 and ISO 22000 and halal certified. According to the company, the new poultry products are innovatively created to suit the personal preferences of every customer. And that wraps up this week's update. Check out our weekly business roundup published each Friday at 7:30 a.m. on YouTube and LinkedIn. Until we see you again next week, stay safe.